On January 21st, 2025, San Marcos experienced a snowfall, rare in central Texas but an increasingly common occurrence. Snow accumulation reached only half an inch, but it was enough to shut down schools and San Marcos' own Texas State University. I ventured out on this Tuesday morning to see if I could shoot any trains in the snow, but traffic proved to be quite slow. I had to wait almost an hour, but eventually we see this northbound mixed freight creeping through the town, naturally once the snow was all but gone. This train originally stopped briefly just south of my location for an unknown reason, but quickly assumed track speed. The snow was all gone within an hour of this train passing, save for the shadiest pockets of ground around town. By the next Friday, January 24th, temperatures and train action had both warmed up. Eager to get out of my cramped dorm room, I headed for the tracks, only for this to happen. Compared with the predominantly northbound Austin subdivision traffic, southbound trains coming off of the Lockhart subdivision are incredibly sneaky. Not wanting to let a golden hour CSX leader go to waste, I decided to bike to my car and give chase. Thankfully, I managed to barely beat it to the southernmost crossing in San Marcos, Posey Road. While most traffic in San Marcos consists of Union Pacific trains on home rails, competitor BNSF has trackage rights in town and typically runs several southbound trains daily off the Lockhart subdivision. This is one of those trains. By now, a northbound Union Pacific mixed freight was approaching on track 2. I moved my camera from track 1 to track 2 just moments before it showed up. While the grade crossing gates for Track 2 previously featured a pair of mechanical bells, one was recently replaced with an electronic bell while the other one is now sounding quite poorly and is very much on borrowed time. Saturday, January 25th, I returned to San Marcos to find a southbound train was lined off the Lockhart subdivision. This time, I had plenty of time to set up. Here we see Union Pacific's daily Chicago to Eagle Pass intermodal at Hopkins Street, the same place I barely caught the CSX leader the day before. This train is usually insanely long, and this day's iteration was no exception. Roll the time lapse. After just over 8 minutes on the crossing, the intermodal finally cleared. Tuesday, January 28th. I had just finished class when I received an urgent phone call alerting me to a Progress Rail SD70 ACU coming up the Austin subdivision. This locomotive began life as an SD90 MAC owned by the CIT Group before it was later sold to Norfolk Southern and rebuilt into an SD70 ACU. The locomotive ultimately ended up being handed over to Progress Rail. It still retains its black Norfolk Southern paint scheme with logos and lettering patched out. Here we see it trailing dead in tow on a northbound Union Pacific mixed freight. The afternoon's action was not over yet. At Patton Street, the intermediate signal on Track 2 was lit with an approach indication, meaning something was coming south off the Lockhart subdivision. Moments later, the signal improved to approach diverging, and before long, the train arrived. This is another southbound BNSF train running with trackage rights. It is also an intermodal heading for Eagle Pass. Thursday, January 30th. A northbound mixed freight is waiting on track 1 for another train to clear ahead of it. Once the other train gets far enough up the line, this one departs. Enjoy a beautiful symphony of K5LA horn, EMD 710 prime movers, and distant mechanical crossing bells as this all EMD lash-up throttles up through town. Well, that is all I have for a January's worth of rail fanning in San Marcos. Thank you for watching.